Good morning. I can't be with you in Beijing today, so let me begin by thanking the organizers for arranging for me to address you in this way. This is an important and exciting time for the world and for China. I don't think I need to remind you. Copenhagen is just around the corner. The EU is looking forward to a broad agreement that provides the framework for global action to tackle climate change. We have been leading by example. We know that ambitious climate action is possible without harming our economies, especially if we work together globally. The carbon market will play an important role, both in enabling emissions reductions at least cost and in providing a vital flow of finance for low-carbon development. Exciting developments are taking place now in China, the first but very important steps in the development of China's carbon markets and its involvement in the international market, and that is why I am so keen to speak to you today. We know we have to step up reductions of greenhouse gas emissions now if we don't want to face much higher costs in the not-too-distant future. The EU has embraced the opportunity offered by emissions trading to do the necessary without paying more than necessary. We began the world's first emissions trading system for carbon dioxide in 2005. It now includes more than 10,000 installations across 30 European countries. When aviation is taken into account, it covers around half of our greenhouse gas emissions. It is the centerpiece of a set of legislation that will ensure that we in the EU reduce our emissions by at least 20% below 1990 levels by 2020. And others are looking at doing likewise, including the US, Japan and Australia, and possibly Korea and Singapore. The bottom-up linking of these systems will be the next major step in the developing of an international carbon market. We expect this to be followed by a gradual shift towards emissions trading in advanced developing countries and sectors. A new crediting mechanism that would generate credits once a whole sector does better than an agreed emissions benchmark can pave the way to cap and trade. This could happen quite fast, maybe in a decade or so. It's essential that the Copenhagen Agreement signals an orderly transition from CDM to sectoral crediting to provide clarity for investors and continued market stability. The international carbon market offers many benefits if we do our work right. Our actions can provide over $50 billion of finance for climate action in developing countries with robust structures, including more ambitious targets by the group of developed countries and the creation of a sectoral crediting mechanism. Global emissions of greenhouse gases need to peak before 2020 if we are to get on the path to avoiding the worst climate change impacts. At the same time, there will be considerable demand for offsets in the American and European carbon markets. So, it's important that the Copenhagen Agreement provides for a new sectoral crediting mechanism which replaces the CDM over time and allows the scaling up of reductions international carbon market mechanisms deliver. China is beginning to build the capacity for significant participation in the international carbon market. CDM has seen by far the largest take-up here, with a significant share of credits coming from China in 2008. The recent launch of the Panda standard by the Beijing Environment Exchange and creation of the Xinjiang climate change show the fast-growing interest in markets. Emissions registries are developing. A national pilot looking at emissions trading in parts of the power sector is very encouraging. Steps are being taken to improve the monitoring, reporting and verification of emissions. This is the way for China to maximize the credibility and therefore the value of the credits it generates through emissions reductions. Today, the EU emissions trading system is by far the largest market, with $91 billion of transactions in 2008. In Europe, emissions trading has brought tackling climate change into the boardroom. China has a population of more than 2.5 times that of the EU, with a fast-growing economy creating many opportunities for low-carbon investment and low-cost emission reductions. Just think what can be achieved with a robust carbon market if we rise to the challenge. I wish you all a fruitful conference.